Uh, okay, cool. It looks like we're already live on YouTube. Facebook always takes a
Awesome.
little bit, but yeah. Hello, everyone. If you are watching live, or if you're watching the replay, drop your questions in the comments. We can always come back and answer those later if you're watching the replay. But yeah, if you're live with us, join the conversation. Any questions that you have for Brittni or myself about emails, about email lists, I'm very excited because like this year I have really like put intention behind growing my email list instead of just like having a little thing on on my website, just like join the newsletter.
Yeah.
But no, I'm excited about this topic, and I know it's something that like a lot of people just kind of put off, and they just think, well, I don't know, people probably don't open my emails anyway. I don't want to try and do this, or I don't want to be annoying or whatever. But no, I know that there is a huge benefit for having a good email list. So I'm excited to chat about that. But before we do, Brittni, tell us a little bit about you, where you're based, what you do, and all that.
Awesome. Well, I am a business and marketing coach, first of all. And so I specialize in automation, systems, building funnels, all of the things and scaling. But a little bit about me, my background is I was a photographer for 10 years. And I did high school senior photography and I owned a photography magazine as well. And I've also worked in the nonprofit sector for like 15 years, and I have my own nonprofit that I started in 2017. About 6 or 7 years ago, I was moving from El Paso, Texas, to Houston, from one end to the other, and I'm
Yep.
like, this is a good time to pivot. And I decided, I am going to do the business coach. I'm going to help people build their businesses. I have built some successful businesses. I know how to do it. I love it. And I often said, when I was a photographer, I'm like, the creative part I had to work a little bit more at, but the business part came like very natural to me. I'm very analytic, very systems. And that's why I had a lot of success. So now I'm in
Yeah.
Utah. I moved to Utah a couple of years ago. And so it was a good move for me because, I have a business established and I can live anywhere. So that is kind of me in a nutshell. So
Nice. Yeah,
yeah.
no, that is great. That is kind of like what I'm aiming for, is that remote business where I can just like
Hmm.
move somewhere, because it's so hot here in Texas.
It
It
is.
is,
It is.
and we'd have no mountains. I am so jealous of Utah. I got to
Yeah.
go up to a conference in Park City like, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago, and it was gorgeous. It was like
Yeah.
September, and it was all the leaves were changing colors, and it snowed a little bit. I was like,
Oh, yeah.
this kind of September that I need. This is
Yeah.
amazing.
It is. It is beautiful. It really is. So
Yeah. But no, I also I love that you kind of touched on this, because I think that it is a great thing to have in a business coach, especially if you are more of the creative minded, where it's just like very artsy and you love the craft and all of that, but the business side of things is a struggle, and you're always just like,
hmm
I don't know, I just hope word of mouth works, and that people
yeah.
just keep coming through the door. um,
Yeah.
if that is you, the listener, if you are more of the creative side, definitely reach out to a coach who has the business mindset to
Yeah.
help you like set yourself up for
Yeah.
success, and not
Yeah.
just like going through making all the pretty images and everything, and then 3 years into it you're like, I don't know what I'm doing, and no
Yeah.
one is showing up anymore.
Yeah. Well, and I think too, as a creative, and I did the same thing. Is when I started photography, and I think any creative, it's like I wanted to learn from people who did beautiful photography,
Right. Yeah.
and a lot of times those people, they were really good at like taking beautiful images, but they weren't very good at business. And so, we often like took advice from them, but they really were not thriving in their business. They made beautiful images, they could take beautiful pictures, but and the business part really struggled. I know, I have a ton of photographer friends that are so talented, but their businesses just struggle because they don't have those foundational tools, and they learned from other creatives who didn't have those tools as well.
Right, yeah, it's just the blind leading the blind, and they're like,
Yeah,
"I don't know, this works
yeah,
for me, so hopefully it'll work
yeah,
for you."
yeah, yeah,
Or, like,
yeah, for sure.
I've, like, gone to workshops and things and learned from photographers, and I'm like, "Oh, you just got lucky." Like,
Yeah,
you got
yeah,
featured in this one magazine when you, like, first started off,
yeah,
and then everything just started coming in, and
yeah,
you
yeah,
were just like, "I was in this magazine." Uh,
yeah, yeah.
but but yeah, so part of that business mindset is like knowing what tools to use to grow your business.
Mhm.
And I know you've got a great story of your email list and how you grew it. Can you give us a little insight of,
Yeah.
like, first of all, just like why should we even care about growing an email list, especially like as a photographer who might be, you might think you have like a one-off client, like a wedding photographer.
Yeah. Well, I think, a lot of times our default is social media. And I think
Mhm.
we think everybody's on social media. I know how to do it. It's easy. And that has kind of been the default. But if you are a business owner, you've seen the last couple of years, there's been a huge shift in social media and the algorithm. What
Yeah.
worked at one point is not really, we're not reaching people as often. And I want to share a story about my photography magazine. Is we started our photography magazine, and at the time Instagram was really new. I mean, this was a lot of years ago, but it was Facebook. Most people were on Facebook. And I remember we put up our first issue, and we had a ton of followers on Facebook. And, I'm analytical. And so we sold the first issue, and I'm like, oh, we made some really good money on this. And then the second issue came out, we're like, oh, we made some really good money. So I'm doing the numbers in my head thinking, okay, we're having like a 15% growth every issue. We're going to make this much money. Right around that
Mhm.
same time, the algorithm shifted. And we all know this if we've been around for a little bit. All of a sudden, Facebook business pages were not reaching anybody.
Yeah.
Nobody was seeing them.
Yep.
And our sales plummeted. And I don't think we ever fully recovered. We sold the magazine a few years ago, but we were like, gosh, that was a good like slap in the face that you cannot put all your eggs in one carton. You cannot, especially social media.
Mhm.
You don't own your followers. That's where email marketing is a little different. You do own your followers. You have access to your list, and it's yours. And you have complete control over, I mean, not 100% control, because we still have like spam filters and opens and that kind of thing. But
Right.
we could still email people in our list. If we needed to get a hold of people, we could use using email. So I think, that's kind of the first thing to think about is you need to diversify too. You don't want to have just one place where you get all of your business and all your clients, because it can change,
Yeah.
and
Oh,
we've
yeah.
seen that. We've seen that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, I saw that in my business a couple years ago where I was mostly Google. Like, that's where
Yeah.
most everyone found me, was through Google. And I had someone, like, they created a mirrored account to mine, and they were like siphoning leads, and my inquiries just dropped.
Yeah.
I guess that was more than a couple years ago. That was like 2019. But like that also woke me up to be like, oh, I can't just rely on even
Hmm.
Google to supply all of my inquiries. I need to
Yeah.
have more of these baskets, that maybe one of them is like a good 60% of everything, but then having
Hmm.
some smaller ones
Yeah.
is really good. But also,
Yeah.
I miss those days of how easy it was on Facebook with the
Yeah.
business profiles, where it was
To
just
read.
like
Yeah, for sure.
every single person that followed you would see it.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think that's really important to hear, of like diversifying where you're spending your time and where you're showing up, so that you don't have all of your leads in one basket, and then algorithm changes and they all go away.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
you're showing up to like four people and that's it.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's frustrating. Well,
Yeah.
and another thing, and I'm gonna, because I'm an analytical person, I'm gonna bring some numbers to you. But if we look at our reach, let's go off of like just a number. So I say I have an email list of 10,000, and the average open rate of an email is
Mhm.
third, let's go on the lower end, 30%. It should be between 30 and 40%, but let's go 30. So I can send an email out to 10,000 people. 3,000 people are opening my emails, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's go to social media. I can have 10,000 followers on social media. Right now it's between 1 and 3%. So, that means 300 people are seeing my content. And so, and again, that can fluctuate, but just those numbers alone, and even, marketing is becoming memorable, and people might not need your service, your product or service right now, but when they do, you want to be top of their mind, right? And so
Mhm.
even if people aren't opening my emails, they're seeing my name every week if I'm consistently marketing to them. And so, and especially, like, we're inundated with so much information. I mean, how many times are we like, oh, what's that one person that does this? I can't
Right.
remember
Oh
what,
yeah.
you know what I mean? So it's like, it's consistency. It's showing up, and and so if you're going to spend time, in growing something, just look at the numbers. I mean, the proof is in the pudding. You know what I mean? The numbers just show that that's where you should put your efforts.
Yeah. Yeah, and I love that. I don't think I've really thought about that aspect of, like, even though maybe your open rate is 30%, the
Mhm.
other 70% are still seeing your email.
Yeah, yeah.
Because, like, I go through my email, I don't open every single one. Like,
Hmm.
there are times that it's like it's maybe a sale on something that I don't have an interest in right now, but
Yeah,
I still see their name, and then I scroll past it to the other ones. And, like, yeah, it's still, you're still showing up in front of everyone, even
yeah,
though it's like 30% open rate.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Okay. So how can we start growing our email list? If we're just like, I don't have anyone, I don't even know how to do an email list. I just use
Hmm.
Gmail. How do we get started with growing?
Yeah. Well, first of all, you don't want to use your Gmail account, because, Gmail and all these free emails, like, providers, they have all these spam filters. So
Mm,
if Gmail, so say I'm sending you an email, John, and I'm also sending the same email to 100 people. People are, Gmail will flag you as, hey, this is spam. And because a lot of if you look at your spam folder, you're going to see, like, Prince of Egypt, or whatever. You're going to see all these random
right.
things. It's because they are sending out emails to tons of people. So you don't want to do that. And I think the max you can send out is 100 anyway, in a day or something like that. There's max on it. So the thing that you want to do is, I use Flowdesk, and I actually have a coupon code I can send to you, John, and you can put it in the notes. But I
Yeah.
use Flowdesk for my email provider. And the reason you want to go with an email provider is because they do all the research for us. They are researching the spam filters. They are researching, they authenticate your domain so that it makes sure that, hey, this is a legit email, and it's getting in their inboxes, right? And so you want to use an email provider. There's a bunch. I mean, there's MailChimp, there's ConvertKit, there's a bunch. I like Flowdesk. It's got beautiful templates. I am a
Hmm.
creative and I love beautiful things.
Yes.
And I like it because it's a flat fee. And some of the other ones, the more subscribers you get, then the price goes up. And so that is one of the reasons that I do like Flowdesk. But how do you start? I mean, that's a great question. When I was a photographer, in all honesty, I had people's email addresses, and I would take their email addresses. I did high school seniors, so I didn't get a ton of return business because there were a senior lunch, right?
Right.
But I retargeted them, like, hey, your senior's going away to school. It's time for family pictures. And so I would do that a little bit, but I wasn't super, again, I was learning from photographers. I wasn't learning, I wasn't doing a ton of email marketing. But one of the things that you have to do is you have to have a lead magnet. And what a lead magnet is it's something that you give your ideal client in exchange for their email. And that can be a coupon code. It can be a free guide. It can be, it can be a number of different things, a checklist, whatever it may be,
Mm,
in exchange for their email address. So, you know, so that's what you need to do. And I'm going to go, some photographers that I've worked with, I'm going to tell you some different, like, kind of lead magnets. I worked with the photographers where she was a wedding photographer. So she said the 10 most Instagrammable couples, like spots to take pictures in Detroit or something. That was like a lead magnet for her. So you have
Yeah.
to think of your audience. What is something that they would want, right? Real estate agents I've worked with, and they've done, hey, how to winterize your checklist, how to winterize your home. They're attracting people that way. I'm a business coach, and so I have multiple, but I have one that's like how to build a high converting sales funnel, or how to batch content for Instagram. It can really be anything. It depends on who your ideal client is. So you want to create these freebies or these lead magnets. Other things that you can do, and this is probably one of my favorite things to do. I do like free trainings all the time. Like I'll do a free webinar. People have to register for it. I get their
Yeah.
email. I like to educate. So that one is one that I have a lot of success with. But you have to try it. And that's what marketing is. You have to test and try, test and try. And you have to just kind of play around with stuff. A lot of times people will just put something on their website and then they just forget about it. But you want to like keep, you have to try, you have to test things out and see what's working and what's not. Don't just put it on there and leave. The
Right.
days of sign up for my newsletter list are over. We have to
Yeah.
come up with something that's, valuable to our ideal client.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah. My email address is sacred. I'm not just like handing it out to anyone who's just like
yeah,
join my newsletter. I'm like, I don't even know what's on your newsletter.
yeah,
I don't know
yeah,
what benefits I'm going to get. Like if you're
yeah,
showing me like, hey, I sign up and you'll get this coupon code or 20% off this template or whatever, or you'll get this like in-depth guide that I would normally sell. I'm like, okay,
yeah,
now
yeah,
I will try it out.
yeah.
And yeah, no, I love it. I also use Flowdesk, and it has been like night and day. I had another email uh, provider or like to do the templates and everything was just so boxy and
Oh
boring
yeah,
and just
yeah.
and yeah, whenever I tried out Flowdesk, I was like, oh, this looks great. Like
Oh, it's so beautiful. Yeah.
I want it to be beautiful, and then also like it's just uh like the templates are very easy to customize too,
Yeah, yeah.
which was
Super user friendly.
a hurdle for me with the other one because
Mhm.
I was like, well, I'm going to need to spend extra time in figuring out how to make this text fit into this box without like spilling over the side because I don't want to send an email that's going to look differently on a mobile device than,
Yeah, yeah,
you know. So I think that was definitely a hurdle for me with starting my email list was just like, I don't know what I'm doing. So I'm
yeah,
just going to do nothing.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's super user friendly for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. But no, I think even the examples that you were giving with the lead magnets,
Mhm.
that's so great to have like having multiple lead magnets and testing out some things and really thinking about what what is your ideal client, your target client who like you're wanting to work with, what would they want,
Yeah,
and then create that instead of just like a hey, I saw this on someone else's website, so I'm going to
yeah,
do a 10 photo guide too
yeah,
because they did it.
yeah,
But
yeah,
really like stepping into the mind and the shoes of your ideal client before you start that.
yeah,
um,
yeah.
but yeah, so like with those lead magnets and everything, like that can be a really long time to like bring people in. Are there
Mhm.
ways that we can like get out there and like market our email list better than just like throwing it up on a website and then hoping people will be
Yeah,
interested and
yeah.
join?
No, that's a great question. So, I mean, again, you can actively, you have these lead magnets. You can put it up on your website, but you have to talk about them. You have to market them, and
Mhm.
that's the thing that I think a lot of people forget about is, there's two like processes. Like, yes, you can grow your email list. Yes, you can get clients, but you have to drive traffic. You have to have traffic, whether that's paid or organic, to grow your business. And so you have to drive traffic. And, there's ways that you can do that. SEO is one of them. I always say recommend putting your lead magnet on your website as a pop up. and then driving traffic. I blog and I'm a consistent blogger. I had a client and she was a wedding planner in Iceland, and she was very diligent about blogging, and so her SEO was great. She had so much traffic, but she wasn't doing anything to get their email addresses. They were just going to her blog and then leaving.
Yeah.
So right away we implemented some lead magnets, and her email list, like, I mean, was growing so fast. I mean, within the first month, I think she had like 1,000 subscribers.
Yeah.
So, you can do that, drive traffic, you can do it that way. Another thing that I like to do, and this isn't for everybody, but I like to speak, and I speak at conferences, or I will speak in memberships or whatever. I always have my lead magnet as one of my slides on my presentation, like a QR code or a link,
Yeah.
and I'm talking about something and I'm like, "Hey, grab this freebie, grab this whatever it is," so that they can get on your email list. So it's really important that you are constantly talking about it, looking for opportunities. Now that's the organic way. Inorganic is you can pay for ads. And we talked about the algorithm and social media and how unpredictable it is. Well,
Hmm.
it's now you pay to play. So do ads work? Absolutely, they do work. But there is a price, and you have to pay a price.
Yeah.
And and it does work, but you do have to pay. So if you don't have the patience and you have the money to invest, they do work, but you do have to pay. So it's either your time or your money. You have to invest something to get a return.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. It's like for those who don't have the money right now and you have an abundance of time, go that
Yeah.
route. And then the
Yeah,
other
yeah.
way around. Because usually, once you don't have a lot of time, you usually have a good amount of money because you've been spending all that time,
Yeah.
hopefully, making money.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, no, I think that's really great. And oh man, you said something and I like pinned it in my mind and now it's gone. But
Happens.
it'll come back around.
Okay. Okay.
But no, I think that is really good to hear of like the education thing. That's what it was you were talking about like it's not for everyone like speaking and doing those things, but you also touched on it earlier of having those guides and like educating your audience, because
Yeah.
a lot of people think of email lists and they're just like, those are for educators, those are for people who are just like out there talking, they're on podcasts, they're doing things, and they're wanting to bring in people. um, but like you can educate anyone, anyone
Yeah.
who is going to hire you. Like you're the professional and you have so much knowledge on what you do. Like being a wedding photographer, it's you kind of get a little separated from the brides and grooms out there because you've been in the industry for so long. You're like, oh yeah, everyone knows this, so I'm
Yeah.
not going
Yeah.
to talk about this anymore. And I think we get
Yeah.
that some way, no matter what genre we're in, no matter what industry we're in, because it's like you're every day. So
Yeah.
trying to think of, or even talking to some clients about like, what are some things that you're having trouble with, like what are you trying to
Yeah. Yeah.
find, and
Yeah. Yeah.
then creating those lead magnets, creating those ads. I mean,
Yeah.
if you can figure out something that they really love and then throw some dollars behind it in an ad, that
Yeah.
that can take off.
Well, and I think too, it is good to test things organically and see before you
Yeah.
throw money at it. Is
Yeah.
like,
Yeah. Yeah.
is this going to work? Are people even interested in this? Test it first, and then if it works, then throw some money at it. So because things don't always work, we think they're going to work and then they don't. So
Yeah. Yeah. So how can we like cultivate more, like continue to grow our email list? Um, like we're doing the ads, we're doing the lead magnets and everything, and people are coming in, our list
mhm.
is growing. How do we continue to like, I don't know, cultivate that relationship with those leads, with the people who are in our email list, instead of just like sending the same sort of emails all the time.
Yeah, yeah. Well, first of all, once somebody joins your email list, you want to do what's called a nurture sequence, and this is where you introduce yourself and you position yourself as an expert. So I always say you deliver the freebie or your lead magnet, and then you introduce yourself. This is who I am, and this is what I do, and then you're going to send the next series of emails, 3 to 4 to 5, however many you want, is value, value, value.
Mm,
So whatever they clicked on, what's their lead magnet, and then you want to do stuff that is relevant to that. So if I have a lead magnet that's is say SEO and people download it, then I want to have my next 3 or 4 emails after I introduce myself. Hey, here is a tip on how to improve your SEO this way. The next one can be, hey, here's a podcast I recorded on SEO. Here's one how to find keywords. I might do something like that, and so you're positioning yourself as an expert. You can end your nurture sequence and try to sell them on a product, and some people do that. It's getting a little harder, in all honesty, to sell like through an email like right away. But what I recommend is doing is building the know, like, and trust factor, and then put them in your email, your main email list. And then you are like, once or twice a week, you're putting out content in your emails. Kind of my strategy that I teach my clients is they're like, well, what do we write in an email? And I think in our heads we think we have to send out these really profound emails, but we don't. It's 200 words is a good amount of words, and then I kind of have my strategy is I do educate. So I'll have one email that is like maybe a tutorial or something. I always do one that's like one of my podcasts or recent podcasts. Another one that might just be like a connection. Like today I sent out an email. My daughter went to school. Here's the picture of my daughter. And then I kind of did lead into like an offer,
mhm,
but it, so it's just kind of like that. If you say you're a nutrition coach or something, or you're a health coach, one email can be a recipe, the other can be like just a fitness tip, the other one can be like motivation, so, kind of come up as if you've ever heard of, with social media, we say come up with your categories or your pillars. What
yeah.
are those pillars? And you kind of do the same with email marketing. Is it's just the same thing, rinse and repeat. I batch mine, so I do a month's worth of emails. And again, I'm only sending out once a week unless I'm launching something. And so that's 4 emails. So I batch those out and then I schedule them, and they're done. If I'm launching something, then I have some emails and I send a few more emails. And then when cart opens, I'll pitch. But for the most part, I'm nurturing, you know. I think I launch something maybe once a
Mm,
quarter. And the rest of the time it's just giving them value.
yeah.
So
Yeah, because whenever you're receiving value in your inbox, you are more apt to open those emails. Whenever you
yeah,
see Brittany's name come in, you're just like, "Oh, yeah,
yeah,
I got a lot out of that last email," or like that was my kid is also graduating soon, or whatever, and just like that connection and like they're getting something from
yeah,
a lot of your emails. They're more apt to click on the one that's just like, "Hey, I've got this offer for you. I think you're really going to enjoy this." It's like,
yeah,
I would
yeah.
actually check that out. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And yeah, that is really good because I feel like for me, um, I get into the same of just like, well, I need to show up and I need to like do like this 3,000 word email of
Mhm.
just like I need to put a bunch of value into this thing. And I love the idea of batching emails too. That way it's not something that like it's really easy to like if you skip a week, if you're telling yourself like I'm going to start my email list, I'm going to show up every single week and send
Mhm.
them something, and then you miss a week and you're like, okay, well now I don't feel motivated to jump back in this
Yeah,
because I've
yeah,
already
yeah,
messed up. But yeah, if you
yeah,
can batch a few weeks or a month's worth, uh, or even like starting off not necessarily like showing up every week, but just staying consistent,
yeah, yeah,
I think
for sure.
really like kind of goes back to what you were saying at the beginning of just like that know, like, and trust, and like seeing your name and your face
Yeah,
show up over and over again in the inbox
yeah, for sure.
consistently is gonna really grow that that connection. So okay, this has been so great. What are some like kind of next steps we can do to I mean, you kind of already talked about like how we can like start. If we're not doing anything, we can jump on something like Flowdesk. We can like start with value
Yeah.
and having those nurture funnels and sequences and all of that. Um, what are some like next little baby steps maybe for the people who already have a list but they need to revive it?
Yeah, I mean, I think, first of all, if you're beginning and you don't have anything, talk to your ideal client, talk to past clients, and what are the questions that people are asking over and over? What
Mhm.
is a need that they have that is applicable to them? And come up with a few ideas and ask people, market research. Hey, is this something that you would be interested in? And kind of play around with that. And that's a good place to start, is just start and create some sort of lead magnet. If you have one and you're like, I have one, but I haven't done anything with it, send out an email, schedule an email. And it's all about consistency. And you might only be able to commit. Maybe right now you can only commit to one email a month, and that's okay. But just pick a goal that you is attainable to you, and just start doing it. Repurpose your content. I mean, that's a big one for me, where I am taking content. I repurpose. Instagram is my main place where I will create content, but I'm repurposing that content all the time. I'll
Yeah.
take a tutorial and or something that I talked about, and I put it in an email. So don't you have to reinvent the wheel. Like, just like, take some content and use chat gpt. Like, that is a good, it's not a replacement for you, it's a
Right.
tool. But go in and write a 200-word email on X, Y, and Z. This is what I do. This is my ideal client. Use AI to get inspired. But it's about consistency and showing up. So just commit and start.
Yeah. No, I love that. Yeah, I have a friend, Emily, Emily Wish. She's been on the show before, and she has an email list where she sends one email a month on the
Yeah.
first of every month. And I
Yeah.
know that whenever September 1st comes around, I'm going to get an Emily email, and I know it's
Yeah.
going to be like some good value and some like kind of catch up on what's been going on in August and all of that.
Yeah.
And like it's consistent. I know it's going to be there, and I'll open it up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, yeah. Okay. Brittany, this has been so good. Thank you so much for like really. I feel like this. I don't know. Email lists are so foreign for a lot of
Yeah.
us that it's just like I don't know where to start. I don't know what to do. I don't know how to get into it. So I'm just not going to do anything. And I feel like this was a lot of really great steps of just like you can do this. Here's this
Yeah.
tool. Use this.
Yeah. Yeah.
So thank you for that.
Yeah.
Um,
Thanks for having me.
before we wrap up and let people know where they can follow you and everything, there's part of the show I like to do where we talk about what we're loving this week, and it can be literally anything: a new book, TV show, movie, new food, whatever. What are you loving this week?
I'm loving, love me or hate me, but I'm loving that my daughter, I only have one at home right now, is back to school, because I love routine and I love schedules. And so I'm
Ah,
so
I
happy.
love
I'm
a
so happy.
routine.
Yes, I do too.
Yes. Yeah, that is so good. My wife and I were actually talking about that today, and we were just like, this is gonna be so great because like my two like school age kids just started back today as well. And then our youngest is in daycare. So like tomorrow starts, everyone is going to be out of the house. We're getting back into the routines of no more super late nights during the summer.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah,
like, I mean, the sun setting so much later is not helping us with bedtimes
yeah,
right
yeah,
now.
yeah, yeah,
Because like I have a 10, 7, and 4, so
yeah,
they're still wanting to
yeah,
stay up.
yeah,
But
yeah,
no, a routine. It's
yeah,
just I never thought I'd be a routine person because I was always like fly by the seat of my pants and just do whatever.
yeah.
But routines are just like they keep me sane now, and it is
Oh,
so
they're
so
simple
good.
pleasure. Simple pleasure
Yes,
for sure.
yes, yeah. Okay, awesome. I this week I'm loving. There's a TikToker that she just like started doing these sketches where she plays multiple people, and It's really well done. It's very simple. It's just like literally a phone on a tripod, but like she's wearing different outfits and stuff.
Yeah.
And Sydney Joe is her name, and she does this thing called it's about like a group chat, and it's just a bunch of girls on a group chat, and just the dynamics of like, oh yeah, I 100% know like which of my friends are these different characters in this
Yeah.
story.
Yeah. Yeah.
And she just launched season 3 of group chat on
I love it.
TikTok.
I love
But
it.
yeah, it was really really funny, and I enjoy a good little sketch comedy thing.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that.
uh, but yeah,
Just
well,
check her
again,
out.
yeah, yeah, I'll have that linked in the show notes for everyone too, if you're interested in that. But yeah, Brittany, where can people connect with you, join your email list? Where can they find you?
I hang out on Instagram, so that's Brittni.Schroeder. That's kind of my main platform. And my website is BrittniSchroeder.com. So you can find me there. If you're interested in growing your email list and you want to join my business membership, it's BrittniSchroeder.com/membership. So those are the places. I'm on every platform under Brittni Schroeder, but those are my main places that I hang. So
Awesome. Okay, well, sweet. Yeah, I will have that linked in the show notes as well. So everyone definitely go connect. And yeah, Brittany, thanks so much. This has
thanks
been
for
really
having me.
fun.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. And thanks everyone for joining. I will see you for the next podcast. Bye, y'all.